Australasia has more than its fair share of picturesque wine landscapes, but few, if any, can match the drama of today's destination, because we are off to central Otago with the 2020 Moonlight Race Pinot Noir from Burn Cottage. We're here, way out in the Pacific Ocean, or more specifically here on the South Island of New Zealand. Central Otago is home to the tourist mecca of Queenstown, which has happily taken on the mantle of adventure capital of the world. Its extreme sports are matched by extreme scenery, the backdrop of the Southern Alps, pristine lakes and jagged, zigzagging river canyons. Being a relatively skinny entity plonked in the middle of the ocean, maritime climates predominate in New Zealand's wine regions. Central Otago is the outlier, with mountains cutting off that ocean influence and lending it a distinctly continental climate. Protection from the rain-bearing westerlies also makes it very dry. The Bannockburn subregion revels in its heart of the desert nickname. There's no shortage of irrigation water, and the semi-arid climate does mean low disease pressure, lending itself to organic and biodynamic viticulture. Spring frosts, however, can certainly be a problem. The growing season is relatively short. As is the way with continental climates, there's not much autumnal mildness to cushion the cut-off from warm summer to the colder months. Central's latitude at 46 degrees south, this is one of the world's most southerly wine-growing regions, means the grapes ripen during long summer days with dazzling levels of UV, bringing bright, intense flavours to the fruit. In a continental semi-desert with most vineyards sitting at 300 metres or higher, this combines with cold nights to give a high diurnal range with the promise of striking acidity to animate the sweet fruit. That said, these pretty extreme marginal conditions require a well-chosen site and a fair bit of work to allow subtle detail to emerge in the grapes and the resulting wines. The soils on these slopes tend to be fast-draining loess or gravel or else clay over a bedrock of schist, with the kind of nook and cranny rocky mosaic that gives license to show off terroir to grapes apt to do so. Step forward Pinot Noir, which accounts for 4 in 5 Central Otago vines. Pinot Gris comes next, then Chardonnay, and then Riesling, the latter sometimes with a dash of residual sugar to balance the acids. There are 6 subregions. Starting with the extremities, you have Wanaka, some 80 kilometres north of Queenstown. Many will be familiar with the stunning site of Rippon Vineyard up that way, where it's slightly wetter and cooler. Furthest south is Alexandria, the most continental, with no large body of water to moderate temperatures. Directly east of Queenstown, Gibbston is the furthest west. The highest subregion is relatively cool and late ripening, with vines facing north over the spectacular Kawarau Gorge. And then about 70% of the region's vines are planted in the Cromwell Basin, whose climate is moderated by Lake Dunstan. This area is bookended by Bendigo and Bannockburn, with Cromwell, taking in Pisa and Lowburn, in the middle. This wine comes from 2 estate vineyards, one in Lowburn and the other in Bannockburn, and it's a prime example of Central's immediate juicy freshness, plus those layers that come from good farming and light touch cellar work. More on that in the caption. It shows rose petals, raspberries and red cherry. There are earthier touches of beetroot and rhubarb, plus thyme, vanilla and cinnamon. There are also some mushroom, forest floor and raspberry tart notes starting to sneak through from its time in bottle, and it rolls through with silky, sappy tannins and a freshening slosh of acidity.